Hello and welcome to The United Stand. It's Sunday Night Live. Lots to talk about. Got rants with me. When, if, will Jose Mourinho be sacked? Want to fly straight into this and get Rance's thoughts because he wasn't at the game yesterday. Look, lots of us, as I say, rants, fans, pundits, players. But the funniest thing for me is that I think the best analysis of yesterday's match actually came from Mr. Mourinho United himself, who said, almost right in his own sacking for me, although I don't think it'll happen, not enough intensity, not enough desire. That was from Jose Mourinho's mouth in year 3, and it's just been left out there as, oh, that's fine. I mean, for me, that just says, I'm here in year 3, my players aren't playing for me. Why is he still here?
Precisely that. And the funny thing is, he said that a lot of players, they didn't show heart. Like, I don't give a shit, like, who's in charge. You don't need heart to beat Crystal Palace at home. You just need to play football.
Yeah,
like, playing football is enough to beat Crystal Palace at home. I don't care who you are. Like I said on Twitter yesterday, you can't tell me that all them players at Manchester City are playing for the badge. Do you know what I mean? They're not playing for the badge. They're just playing football the way they're coached to play football. Most of these guys didn't know who the fucking club was when they signed for them. So, like, I'm not trying to hear this play for the badge, heart, passion and all that. Yeah, that's all well and good. But against teams like Crystal Palace at home, none of the above should count. We're supposed to turn up there, play our football. We're better than these guys from front to back. We beat them. It should be that simple.
I said it after the game yesterday on my phone, Cam, you're 100% right. I think if they hadn't been managed by Mourinho yesterday, those players would have won that game on their own. It was almost like because Palace, with their one goal, would have won that game. Palace, I know Townsend had a good chance, but one goal, we would have won that game. I firmly believe we would have won that game with no manager.
Yep. So do I. If the players were just left to their own devices, and usually that's when we play our best. When the players are left to their own devices, we're 2-0 down, and we just have to go for it. That's when we see the best team.
I'll tell you what, I mean, there's loads I want to talk about. Some people have said some very interesting things. I mean, an ex-Mourinho player, we should have had more money. We'll have a laugh at that in a minute. But I'll tell you what scares me the most, and obviously you're at most games as well. Walking out the Old Trafford yesterday, waiting for the fan cams, and the thing that really irritated me was when I was growing up, a teenager, very different world, but if you wanted to earn a bit of extra money, there was this factory where you could go and make filters, and a lot of people from where I lived, you know, proper working class people, it was a 9-to-5 job, Monday to Friday. They hated doing it, but it paid a wage. And you'd see them going to work in the morning, you'd see them coming out, and every night apart from Friday, they had that face on, you know, just accepting that that was their life. And that's what I saw coming out of Old Trafford yesterday. There was a few people angry, but it terrifies me that a lot of the fans, and in the ground as well, are accepting what we are, which is, I think we are 6 points off 5th, 7th off 4th, 14 off top. Negative goal difference. It terrifies me that fans are just accepting it. There are people who are vocally not happy about it, obviously, but a lot of people are just accepting it. And this is the question. I think the club are accepting it. I don't think he's going to get sacked anytime soon.
I don't know. I feel like he will. I feel like he will for the simple fact that it's clear these guys are not playing for him. Pogba posted something on Instagram today saying, "I'll never give up," and that. Do you know what I mean? Despite the manager saying, "Oh, people aren't showing heart," like there's a clear divide, in it. Like there's little shots firing everywhere, and his days are numbered. I don't think he's going to finish the season. I honestly don't. I think that they don't want to pay the compensation money, but I think it's going to become untenable. I reckon he's just going to get sacked, man. Like I reckon he'll get sacked before Christmas. I can't see things getting better. When I saw the run of winnable games, I knew we were going to drop points straight away because that's just the Jose thing to do. It's always 1 step forward and 2 steps back with him. It always has been since he's come. So I was expecting us to drop points in this run of games, and it came a lot sooner than I anticipated. But I'm not shocked by this. I don't get angry when we lose anymore, like, because I know what we are, like, and I know what he's made us. Like, everyone knows that we're shit at the moment, and we're shit because of him. Like, it's that simple, because it's not because we don't have 25 players capable of playing football, because actually we have 11 players good enough to field a team and compete with any 11 in this league.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I spoke about that on my lunchtime. I did a bit of a tactical analysis, which I don't always do, but I just felt the need to do it. Because I heard people saying, well, Darmian played quite well yesterday. Well, he did, but he's a crap right winger. You know, you've got Valencia, got Dalot. Matic is the worst player in the whole squad with Lukaku, and they played 90 minutes again. this comes from the manager. He can talk about desire, he can talk about passion, but his selections and tactics are just amateur. Somebody even said, is he actually trying to get the sack yesterday in Old Trafford?
But I think he is. Like, we're trying to win a game, so you take off Jesse Lingard, who's probably the best player.
He was, hands down, yeah, definitely.
You take off Paul Pogba, who is our most inventive player on the pitch. And one matter, like 3 guys that can actually create something, and then you bring on Fellaini to lump it long to him and flipping Lukaku. Like, this is the kind of football that this guy has been. He's been getting away with shithousing results his whole career. The only difference is he's been at smaller clubs, and also he's won things, so he's been allowed to get away with it. But now he's not winning anymore. What does he provide?
It's interesting. I mean, I want to obviously it's hard to balance the scales when, for me and a lot of people, the issue is what's happening on the pitch. But one thing, I don't know whether you saw all the game or what yesterday, but one thing that I found difficult, and I don't know what your thoughts are. I know Sophie said Pogba had a bad game. I watched that game yesterday. I personally don't think Pogba had a terrible game. I know a lot of people want to jump on that. I don't think he was any worse than anybody else. But one person who did, who's my favourite player, Martial yesterday, was awful. His head was awful. And, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because he's been so good recently, and he was 20%. And I don't even know what the answer is myself, which is why I'm asking that question. Why? You know, because if he played, Martial could have won us that game. He's that sort of player yesterday. But he almost didn't want to.
Yeah, but this is it though. But come on, man. We only saw before the game all the bullshit. Like the interview that's come out. It was done in the international break, so it was an old interview, but it wasn't old to the point where it wasn't relevant. Do you know what I mean? And he likes to do that. He likes to throw players under the bus. I'll never forget the West Ham game, when we lost to West Ham, the way he threw Martial under the bus. If that was me personally and a manager done that to me, I wouldn't play for him again.
Do you think that's what it is? Because you know what, I didn't want to put words in your mouth, but that was my interpretation yesterday. Is that Mourinho calls it a lack of desire, a lack of fight. He can call it what he bloody likes. He's the manager, so for me, he has lost the players. They don't want to play for him anymore, and that's not nice. But it's 3-3. He's lost the players. There's no point publicly slating them. He's the manager. What does he want What does he want to happen? Sack all the players and give him a load of more? You know, it's on him.
It's his job to motivate these guys, isn't it? And he's lost most of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, Marcus Rashford has come out many, many times, and he's always talking about how he loves playing for Gareth Southgate. Same with Jesse Lingard. Both of them talking about how much freedom he gives them and how much they enjoy playing for England, this, that, and the other. They don't have that same energy for putting on a red shirt. And these are 2 Manchester boys, and they don't even want to play for us anymore. So when these guys don't want to play for us, you know something's wrong. Yeah,
definitely. And well, look, I did want to discuss. Rance is saying that you think he will be gone by Christmas.
Yeah, I think he has to be, because I wouldn't say they've down tools, but there's a clear lack of desire to play for him. Like, it's so clear. He can't get a reaction out of these players. And what fucked us was the Newcastle game, because had we lost that game, he would have been gone, in all honesty. And when we won that game, it looked like he turned it around and they were playing for him. When in reality, the players done that for themselves, and the players have been playing for themselves. The Chelsea game was the same. Like, the players have not been playing for him. They've been playing for pride, and they've been playing for the badge. But it came across as that he was still getting a reaction out of them. And I think that's why he kept his job.
I agree. I think that goes back to what we were saying before yesterday. I think if they played like they had done in October, which to me was players playing for themselves, it wasn't anything to do with tactics. I think yesterday we saw the tactics come back, and lo and behold, we lose games. It is interesting. I mean, I'm just going to say that I do think he'll be here in January, but I really hope that you're right. But one thing I refuse to do anymore is, unlike you, I thought we were going to win a lot of games between now and Christmas. And I said, I'm still Mourinho out. There'll be loads of bandwagons going, we're winning games, but we should win these games. I was really surprised we didn't win yesterday. But Southampton need to win next weekend, and we're away. So, I mean, I think we'll beat Young Boys, but you never know. But I think Southampton's quite a precarious game next week. And then Arsenal will beat us. If we play like yesterday, Arsenal will beat us. So, you might be right there. You might. Those two games are absolutely massive.
It's mad, though, because, bro, even under Moyes, we beat Arsenal, man. I don't know. We just always beat them. Like, I just feel like they've got a mental block against us where we just do them, innit? Like, there's just certain games. I think we'll beat them anyway. But it's just... like, it's not good enough. Like, there's too many things that are not good enough. Like, he's not getting a response from the players. The brand of football is atrocious. And it's quite frankly, it's disrespectful to all of the Manchester United fans. Like, we should never have to watch football like that. Like,
yeah, I think United fans really need to... Not all of us, because I think a lot of us are like this, but I think there are United fans out there who are just accepting this. And if you are watching, don't accept it. Why should you accept it? Rance is right. You deserve a lot better. Look at the league table. Look at the performances. This is year 3. I'm sorry. I will like Mourinho when he's not United manager. I've always liked him, but this is my club now. He's got to go, and you can't just sit. What are they waiting for, Rance? That's what I'm like. Why are they accepting it? What are they waiting for? Because I don't know. I still, I think if Gary Neville went public again, he'd still say stick with him. But I've lost. I don't understand what they're waiting to happen, because I just don't see how it is going to happen.
But this is it. Like, Rio come out like yesterday and said what we were all thinking. Paul Scholes has been saying how Jose just embarrasses the club every time he opens his mouth, and that's what he does. Like, the guy. What I notice about him is the worse he does, the more he talks. And that's how you know that he's underperforming, when he's talking a lot, because he does a lot and he always likes to deflect. He's talking about young players this, young players that, and all of this bullshit. The reason why he doesn't really like young players is because he doesn't like to coach, because he can't coach. That's
I just want to just butt in there, because we got a great call on the call-in last Monday, and they basically said, look, we were crap last year, but we did finish second and we got top 4 comfortably. We're crap this year, we can't defend. It's very obvious that Mourinho has had a large amount of success because he had Rui Faria with him.
Yep. It's very true. It's very true. Rui Faria got a lot of the credit for it, and that's the thing in football. People that don't understand the mechanics of football and how coaching stuff actually works, you'll see even in the Ferguson era, Ferguson's number 2s, he rotated them. And you could tell, depending on who he had in his number 2, he played a different brand of football every time. So Ferguson wasn't this tactician that was super involved in the training ground. He was the man manager, but he wasn't the guy that was pulling everything together behind the scenes. It was very obvious when we switched from going from 2 up front and went to the 1 up front, and then we had the Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez era. You could see when Queiroz was there. You could see when Queiroz wasn't there. By the type of players we signed, the type of football we played, the formations we played. Like, it was very obvious where the transitions were coming. But what Ferguson always did was he had a number 2 that would challenge him and that brought fresh ideas. Jose's had the same guy behind him for 15 years. And then he disappears. And instead of bringing in someone experienced, someone that could bring something to the team, he promotes 2 guys because he knows they're not going to challenge him.
You're spot on.
What are McKenna doing? Nothing. They're there just to talk to the guys, bro. They're yes men effectively.
Yeah, because I mean, nobody knows a lot about Carrick and McKenna, but what we do know is they wouldn't be playing that brand of crap yesterday. They wouldn't.
No way. No way. Michael Carrick played for Alex Ferguson. Do you think that Michael Carrick would have us playing that shit football if he had any say in what was going on?
Yeah, 100%.
Impossible. So Jose brought them in. Them 2 look like they're just happy to be there. Like, we don't need that. So if he gave a shit and he really wanted to do something, he's a defensive coach, but we can't defend. So maybe he's not a defensive coach. Maybe it was the staff that he had that made him look so good.
I agree. I think 100% that, not a lot of people have twigged on that why are we suddenly a crap team? And I think he's had a big. I mean, it wasn't, as I say, it wasn't. I didn't like the way we played last year, but we didn't concede many goals and we were far better organised, and I think that's what Faria brings. I'm just going to read some of the super chats out, then I want to ask Rance about what Joe Cole said, because I think it's not really about Joe Cole because he's irrelevant, but what he said is said by a lot of United fans. But Brian Pollock says, Jose Innes say to back Jose and he will be successful. Backing him fully requires 1 billion plus easy. Not going to happen. Let's just move on. Jose out. Kadir Hussein says, Mark, who would you pick if you had no choice but had to pick one to stay at United, Martial or De Gea? We'll come back to that one. It's a good one. Rahul Matthew, is he putting all his eggs in Champions League basket and leaving the summer? Well, them eggs are going to get smashed into a scrambled, into a bloody omelette, mate, because we ain't going to win the Champions League. Revan says the club has become toxic from top to bottom. If we don't find an antidote soon, we're screwed. You can kiss top four goodbye. It's definitely gone. Top four's gone, Rance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I said that from last week and the week before. That's been gone. You know what I mean? So, like, none of this surprises me, man. We'll be lucky to finish in the top 6 the way we're playing.
Yeah, I think 6th is our limit, actually, because I don't think... I mean, Arsenal won again today, and I think they probably... I don't think Arsenal will get the top 4, but I think they'll get 5th. Philip Burtonwood says Jose's too stubborn. He has his favourites. No matter how bad they play, they won't be dropped. He's ruining the club. Jose out. And Lee Ballington says when things aren't going well, some young players need a kick up the butt. Some need an arm around the shoulder. What you don't do is ridicule them. Well, he's got no experience at all of dealing with young players, and we are a club that has always, produced young players. He ain't got a bloody clue. He never has had a clue. But talking about a player who was relatively young when he was playing under Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, Joe Cole, he's come out and said a few things which quite interesting. Obviously, he's played under Mourinho before, so he's going to back...
the interview, and Jose Mourinho ruined Joe Cole. That's the funny thing about it, but Joe Cole can't see it. I know the Joe Cole that was at West Ham. Carefree, flair player, talented, one of the most talented players of his generation. If not, I even know guys that went to school with Joe Cole. He was in year 7, running past year 11s, and he was a special footballer. And Jose fucking ruined him and turned him into a shit left winger. And he plays down the middle.
It was meant to be the next guy. I remember his debut at Old Trafford when he was about 17.
Supposed to be the next Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Number 10. He was a number 10 creative player, flair player, and Jose stuck him out on the left wing and ruined his career. That's what happened. Do you know what I mean? But these guys, man, the thing is with Joe Cole, because he achieved a certain amount of success with Jose, that clouds a lot of it. It's nostalgia, innit? He's looking back and he's thinking how it feels to win trophies. He's not thinking about anything else.
Well, he said that, and there's a lot of United fans saying this, because to me it's irrelevant what Joe Cole says. He's not a United fan, he's not a United player, but what he said sort of resonated, because I've heard a lot of United fans saying it on Twitter. I wanted to get your thoughts, where he's basically said, if you back Mourinho with transfers, he'll deliver success. I think we spent 380 million and it's year 3, but, more money.
No, that's our net spend. We spent more than that. We spent over 400 million, but our net spend is like 380 or something.
Do you think more money would have us in a better position?
Hell no. Like, here's my thing, yeah? If you want to give him more money, yeah? Show me why I should give you more money. Show me all the good signings you've made so far. You signed 11 players and 2 of them get into your starting 11. So why the fuck should I give you more money?
Exactly. No. And I think we saw a team in London last night with no money spent in the summer. Hardly ever money. And for me... They're up there with Liverpool and City as the most exciting.
How have they managed to spend no money and improve? Because they have a coach. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Jose's signings, yeah, cool. The loan cost 19 million. Yeah, he can't get in the team. How much did Robertson cost Liverpool?
Probably not much, because they got him from Hull, didn't they? So
well, there you go. Exactly. How much did Kieran Trippier cost Tottenham? Peanuts. How much did Davis cost? Peanuts. All these men are cheaper, and they're better than these guys that we're buying. Like, we're not getting value for money under Jose. He spent 75 million and some, plus Wayne Rooney on fucking Lukaku, bro. Like, what the hell is that?
And also, you got Fred. People are forgetting about Fred now. I mean, he was... yeah, and he was on the bench yesterday, but you'd never know, because there was absolutely no chance of him coming on.
He never gets on. 50 million, and understand, yeah, Fred is a guy that Manchester City wanted, he's not a shit player.
The danger is, actually, just to bring something else in that I was reading today, Andres Pereira's out of contract in the summer, and Chelsea and Arsenal are sniffing around Andres Pereira in January. I mean, the danger is, we can talk about when he's going to be sacked, we can talk about bad results, but I said it right at the end of my fan cam, I fear things are going to get worse, because we are going to... De Gea, Martial, Pereira, these players, we all talk about if we get a proper manager in, we'll be fine. But if they don't do it soon, these players will go, and then it becomes an even harder job. We become more of a mess. I mean, I was going to say, you can't really knock Pereira for going, not on the bench again yesterday.
But this is it. And I said it last season when everyone was saying Pereira doesn't have the right attitude to be a Man United player because he forced the loan move. He forced the loan move because he knows that Jose is not going to play him. It's that simple. Jose Mourinho is a disgrace. He's a Manchester United manager. We're out the League Cup. But even so, how many youth players did we see?
No, he went with an experienced team because he likes to win it, doesn't he? So he can say, oh, I've won a trophy.
All that, but when we used to watch the League Cup, we used to see Danny Welbeck, we used to see all these other fringe players, and we used to have something to get excited about. And now Pereira can't even make the bench in the League Cup. Why the hell would he not want to go out on loan? There's no communication breakdown, you know. They're both of their first language is Portuguese, so it's not like they don't understand each other. Andreas has spoken to this guy and he knows that he don't have a future, and he knew that. That's why he went out on loan. He was our best player in pre-season by a country mile, and he can't play. And it's the same with Fred. 50 million we spent for Fred for a substitute, and Jose wants money. He could have spent that 50 million on a centre-back if he needed it so badly. Why didn't he?
Just a live comment here that's caught my attention. I'd like to get your thoughts on it, actually. Abby B says, Mark rants, why don't you start Jose out campaign? Start with a banner at Old Trafford. I mean,
bro, I can't be bothered. You know why I can't be bothered? Because it's just like, what will it achieve, really?
Yeah.
Like, what will it really achieve? Like, the club is a disgrace right now. I mean, like, I know that Jose is not the be-all and end-all of the issues at the club. However, all these people that saying no matter who was managing Manchester United, the results would be this bad. You're deluded. Even people like Eddie Howe. Why are we going to Bournemouth and getting outplayed by Bournemouth?
Well, I heard somebody say today, actually, I'll ask you this question as well. I heard somebody saying this today, and it was a particular tweet that had loads of retweets, and it was like, it was clearly a Mourinho winner, and they were like, all these United fans saying, get Mourinho out, and I say, who are you going to get in? And they say, I'd have anybody other than Mourinho, but the question still stands, who are you going to get in? And I thought, well, it's really weird, actually, because on our channel, I know if I spoke to anybody, they'll give me 4 or 5 names, and at least 2 or 3 of them are actually available. So I don't understand that point. Or we're going to keep Mourinho because there's no one else available. Oh, I've got plenty of names.
If there's no one else available, then right, give it to Nicky Butt then, because I'd just get him out. It's that simple, because the guy's toxic. The guy's toxic. All the players need to get top 4 is confidence. That's it. We don't need to sign anyone.
Yeah,
all we need is our players to play the way that we know they can play, and they have the talent to play. And we can still get top 4 mathematically. We can, because we're good enough. But with him in charge, we are fucked. I'm tired of hearing the excuses. The board need to back Mourinho on if he had the backing that Pep had. Listen, Man City ain't backed Pep, like 100% to the hilt. Like, Man City's record signing was Riyad Mahrez, 60 million. And they had to wait for him.
Yeah, they didn't get Sanchez, did they? Because they wouldn't do it.
They didn't get Sanchez.
Fred was the same.
They didn't get Sanchez, Fred, or Jorginho because their owner said we're not willing to pay that money. So Pep ain't had it all his own way. He hasn't got all the players he wanted. They haven't said to him, you know what, we've got a blank check. You can have whoever you want. They still have a structure with how they buy players. Why are we spending 75 million on Lukaku and their record signing cost 60 million? So that shows that they're recruiting better than us too. So it's not just the money. Just very quick, I want to ask you something else, but very quickly I just want to say is that in response to the person who said, why don't you get a Mourinho out banner? Look, that's not what the United stands. That's not what it is. It's not for me or Rance or Flex or Sophie or anybody to tell you what to think. We offer our opinion, and it's not for that. Why should we go and put a banner out saying Mourinho out? You know we're Mourinho out. It's for you lot to make your own mind up. It's for you lot to be vocal in your own way. I don't believe in trying to get some movement going along, because the clue is there, trying. If we've got to try to do it, you should be doing it yourself. That's clear. But this is it, man. Like, for me, the fans, we're the ones, it's our money they're using to screw us over. Like what they did at Arsenal, people just stopped going to games. They're doing it already at Old Trafford. Last game I was at, I sat next to a row of 6 empty seats. That's never happened in my whole entire life of going to Old Trafford. I sat next to 6 empty seats. People are getting the message now, bro. I can't sell my tickets anymore. Like, if I don't go, I can't sell my seat unless it's a big game. I remember it was the Everton game, and it was midweek or something. Nobody wanted the tickets. You couldn't give them away, mate. Like,
young boys I've never been offered so many young boys tickets. It's ridiculous.
You can't give them away now. And that's the state that the club's in. So people that don't go to the games wouldn't know that. But literally, they tell you the record attendance and that's how many tickets they've sold or whatever, and season tickets. But trust me, that stadium is not full no more. It's not. And it's going to continue. I think that if they want to make an impact, they need to hit the Glazers in their pocket, and fans need to start walking out of games.
George Hunter says, I've noticed when Mark goes to the games, we either lose or draw, like against Wolves and now Palace. Well, we drew them both, but to be honest, don't blame that on me. Most United games are shit, so that's nothing to do with me. But you know what tires me is, I've said this before, and I'm just going to pop you on the spot here, because obviously Mourinho picked his team, he's picked his tactics yesterday. I'm tired of saying that, look, we have a team. People talk about transfers. I believe we've got a team. The only player you can't pick yesterday is Luke Shaw. Name me an 11, Rance, that would be a really good team yesterday that would be going for the top 4. Would be comfortably in the top 4.
What's that?
What would your 11 be? Because we've got a good squad. I mean,
if we don't have if we don't have Luke Shaw to play, I'm definitely playing De Gea in goal. If we don't have Luke Shaw at left back, then I don't know who I play there. Like, what's the deal with Marcus Rojo? Is he even fit? Like, what's the deal?
Apparently he is fit, yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? So we're screaming.
Him and Baye not even on the bench yesterday, so yeah.
We're screaming out for centre backs, yeah, but we can afford to not have Baye and Rojo on the bench. So clearly we can't be in that much need of centre backs.
Phil James was there.
And Baye have to play centre half together. Like Jose, you bought them both, but we've not seen these two together. Don't make sense. Lindelof's the ball player and Baye is the one that attacks the ball. Makes complete sense. You know what I mean? At right back, we've got Delo. Like, if he's fit, I'm playing him. I don't care. I'll play him and Shaw. In the middle, you got to play Fred. Were you spending 50 million on a guy you're not playing? You play Fred, you play Pogba, and I'm not playing Matic. I'd rather play Andreas or I play Herrera there. I don't care. I'm not playing Matic because Matic can't tackle. He can't pass. He can't... Like, literally, he's average at everything. He's average at everything. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, he doesn't have one thing that stands out about his game that I could say, you know what, that's why he's in the team. Like, he'd probably make a better centre-half.
100%, yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, the guy's terrible. You know what I mean? And then the front three, I'm playing Sanchez down the middle. I'm playing Tony on the left and Rashford on the right. It's just so easy. Like, there's so many different things we could do. We could even play Pogba and Fred and play Jesse in front of them and play Pogba and Fred. We have ways of playing. Like, there's no... We could play Pogba in a 2 or we could play him in a 3 because he's that good. And against smaller teams, we don't need 2 holding players. We can play 1 holding player and Pogba and someone else. And Pogba and Fred. We don't need to play 2 holding players because we're better than that.
I appreciate that because, you know, that just proves to everybody what we've been saying for a few weeks now is that yesterday we could have put that team out. You know, he talks about lack of effort, whatever. No one's forcing him to pick the crap teams he's picking. He's picking them. He's picking the tactics. We've got the players to do it. I did want to ask you as well as, obviously, you've had a few words about Lukaku in the past. It was almost like the international break happened and Jose thought we were all so thick that we wouldn't forget that he'd been dropped before, that he's rubbish, and lo and behold, he's there. I watched the warm-up yesterday, smacking it into the Stretford end like he's got a grudge against people who were in there, instead of, you know, De Gea's like, you know, twiddling his thumbs when he's meant to be getting shooting practice. He was no better on the game. But again, I do understand because I know who the manager is, but he shouldn't have been starting yesterday. He played 90 minutes.
But this is it. I told you, he's got his guys. Ashley Young, Chris Smalling, Nemanja Matic, Marouane Fellaini, and Lukaku. All of it. Those are his guys, man. The guy has a little following, and these guys, like, they have to kill someone to get dropped. And even then, like, when he dropped Lukaku because he knew that Lukaku was dying, and also there was so much, like, pressure from the outside for him to drop him. But what Jose wanted to happen was, as I said before, he wanted to drop Lukaku, then for us to play shit, and then he could say, yeah, and that's why I play him all the time. Because remember the last time he done that to Martial? He was like, you lot screaming for Martial, and then I play him, and then he does X, Y, Z. He done that. It was the Brighton away game. Jose said that. You lot saying I don't play him, then I play him, and look what's happened. He dropped Lukaku to prove a point, but then we started scoring goals. So it kind of backfired on him. But as soon as we've had a little break, he just brought him back in like nothing's happened. The guy's fucking terrible. He's easily the worst number 9 that I've seen in my life. at the club. He's the worst. He's the worst. You know what I mean, we had 4 strikers in '99, and they were all better than him. Even the ones that didn't start. Like, we had guys coming off the bench that were better than him. We had Oli coming off the bench.
If you ever get yourself down Old Trafford, it's very easy to sort of get in there a little bit late. I know I read something the other day about top Reds getting there a minute before. We were in there about 45 minutes before yesterday, and we were watching them even before they come out to practice, you know, about half an hour before. And he's bad on a football pitch. Understandably, some players do sink in a match, but when you watch, I mean, he's literally like, there's a coach knocking it into his feet. He's got to get it out of his feet and then shoot. He looks so unnatural. I mean, his goal record's brilliant, but what I was going to say is that you know, Mourinho potentially, hopefully, will be a problem that's resolved very quickly. But whoever comes in, they're still going to have this legacy, this 80, 90 million pound, however you add it up, striker. That, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but he's a massive problem.
This is his last season at the club. I'm sure of it. But my thing is, like, he's shit. And I even said, like, Jose, what he's done is, like, he's going to leave the club in a worse state than he found it.
Which he promised he wouldn't. He promised he wasn't going to do that, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't. But he has. You know why he has? Because, as I said, LVG left us with Jesse Lingard. He left us with Marcus Rashford. He left us with Anthony Martial. He left us with Memphis Depay, who is setting fucking Europe on fire at the moment. Internationally, Champions League, everything. Talented footballer that wasn't really nurtured properly. And now he's coming to his own. Jose is going to leave us with fucking Fellaini on a new contract. Valencia and Smalling and Young on a new fucking contract. And Matic and Lukaku. Like, the next manager has a harder fucking job than Jose had when he came in. Because they're going to have a bunch of aging shit footballers. So we're going to have to spend another 400 million to rectify this problem.
Do you think that's why the board are I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking, you know what? I've heard from so many people that Woodward knows nothing about football. And, I mean, we're speculating here, but we know they're all about money. They must be absolutely terrified of this situation and praying that Mourinho is going to turn it around, because you're right. I said this morning. When Mourinho's sacked, I'm not going to say the next manager is going to win the title. I think we're probably in the hardest position we've ever been in since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Even you know, like, as you were on about a few weeks ago, you were saying it's worse than Van Gaal. I wasn't quite sure then. I'd agree now. I actually think it's worse than Moyes because it was his first year. So when Mourinho goes, I think we're going to be in the worst position we've ever been in since Sir Alex Ferguson left, with such massive renovation needing from top to bottom. And maybe that's why the board are maybe a little bit hesitant, because they know it's going to cost big money and they don't want to spend it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think the board know that they can't trust Jose with the money. That's why they're not giving him any more. Like, as much as people give the board stick, like I always said, the board have backed every single manager that have come in. Like, we can't say they haven't. Like, they backed David Moyes to sign Fellaini, even though Ed Woodward could not have been fucking turned on by that signing. But he still gave them the money. And we paid over the odds for Fellaini as well. If we tried to sign him a week earlier, we would have probably got him for 15 million less. So it's one of them things where Moyes come in, he said he wanted Baines and Fellaini, and he didn't get Baines, but he got Fellaini. LVG come in, wanted his players. They backed LVG to the tune of 250 million. Like, these guys, every time a new manager's come in, they've backed them. Jose came in, they've backed him. But they've seen that they can't trust him with the money, so they're not giving him any more. When they didn't give him more money in in the summer, I knew that that's when Ed was like, okay, I'm done with this guy. He had to pull the plug on the Martial and the Pogba situations, because both of them guys would have left us in the summer if it was up to Jose. So
yeah, you're right.
Have to. So when these guys are like, oh, Ed Woodward, we need to get him out of the club. If it wasn't for fucking Ed Woodward, mate, like, we would have lost our best players. So,
Woodward just needs to be the businessman, doesn't he? We need a director of football. That's it.
We need DOF, which we're gonna get anyway. And like, I've been hearing that a few people have been approached, and also Woodward knows that a DOF ain't gonna work with Jose Mourinho. So that's something that's gonna come in when the manager leaves. So that's why I know he's definitely leaving. But they're saying that we've approached like the Juventus chief head scout and director of football, the last one, who's currently available, and also the guys at Atletico Madrid. So we are looking into it, but Like right now, don't give Jose a penny. Like let him coach his way out of this situation. He doesn't deserve any more money. And if you can't do it, then you sack the guy because they clearly don't trust him. And why should we allow him to continue to build the club in his own image? We don't like his image.
I think that I was talking about this before the Palace game, and obviously, you know, everything changes by results because it's a results business. But I was saying that the thing is, I don't think Zidane wants a job until the summer, and I think he probably wants Juventus. We're never getting Pochettino, probably never anyway, but we definitely wouldn't get him till the summer. I'd be scared.
Poch's on a death row contract. He just signed a new deal.
I think the one thing I would say about this board is do not trust them about the next manager, and it terrifies me that it could be Conte, because I just don't want him. But I
don't think it will be Conte because he's just been set by Chelsea, and I think they're not going to make that mistake again after you got Jose that got sacked. Do you know what I mean? And I just think with a director of football, it doesn't really matter who the manager is if they get the right director of football and the right people behind the scenes. I think it don't really matter, to be honest, because it's all about the structure. And that's why teams like Barcelona, no matter who comes in, they continue to win stuff because the structure's there, innit? So I just feel like people were saying to me, oh, would you take Eddie Howe and this, that and the other?
Was a coach,
at the beginning, I was like, no. But then I thought about it. If we got a director of football in and we got our shit together and our scouting done behind the scenes and everything done properly, then he could do a job because he's a very good manager and he's got the philosophy. But I wouldn't trust him in the structure of the club at the moment. No,
he'd get swallowed up, wouldn't he? Because he hasn't got that experience of dealing with these big things.
But this is it. And I've heard that Zidane wants the job. But if he is going to get the job, then he needs to get it before Christmas. And also he's going to need assurance that he'll have money to strengthen in January if he needs it. So that's why if Jose doesn't get sacked by Christmas, I think we're stuck with him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I'll ask you that in a minute. I just want to read some of these super chats. David C says sacking Jose equals 20 millions, backing Jose minus 200 million in talent and no pounds on the Champions League sponsors. He needs sacking now, so our new manager has 6 months to see what he needs. Good point. Red Jedi, once Jose gets his centre back, he'll complain he needs a right winger, then a CDM. The same people will fall for it. Gavin, I'm from Australia. I don't even think I'll watch us when we come down under in the summer. Joseph Young, Fortune 500 CEOs get replaced all the time. Doesn't mean the CEOs aren't talented. Mourinho out means he's not a good fit for Manchester United. Nothing personal. Ian Cooper's made a contribution. And how can Martial not be terrible? He saved Jose 3 times, and Jose came back and hammered young players again. How can Martial play for such a manager? Says Joseph Lackey, which is a good point.
It is. Like, how do you motivate yourself to play for this guy? You've got to understand, as much as we, as fans, grew up supporting this club, Anthony Martial grew up in Paris. He didn't grow up supporting Manchester United. Like, he loves the club because of the affection he gets from the fans, but this is not his boyhood club. This is not his dream. Like, if Bayern Munich or Real Madrid come in for him, I'm sure he wants to go. And these teams do want him because he's that good. So why should he put up with the bullshit from this manager, and then on top of it, you're not even fucking winning games? Why should he take that abuse? For what?
I don't know when it was said. Obviously, it came out on Friday. Nothing surprises me that comes out of Mourinho's mind. Like I said at the start of the show, I think the most damning comment yesterday, and we had fan cams calling him all sorts of names, I think the most damning thing came from his own mouth, and he's not even clever to realise it when he says the players are showing no intensity or desire. Well, that's on him. That's on him. But it's I cannot understand why he brought up a named player. And I know you've got Mourinho in as defending him on Friday morning, saying he's been misquoted, but he wasn't actually misquoted. What he actually said is young players today lack desire and fight, which, you know, I do agree with him to a certain extent. I think society in general for youngsters is a lot different to what it was when I was a kid, because society is different. I don't disagree with him with that. What I disagree with, Rance, is why bloody say it when you know it's going to get blown up the way it did. And it's just going to make those young lads think, why do I bother?
But this is what I said on Twitter, because people were like, oh, he was misquoted and this, that and the other, and there's an agenda against Jose. I said, he's not misquoted, because when it suits Jose's agenda, he will just not say anything. Everything he says are always loaded. Like, he's a calculated guy. Every comment he makes is always loaded. There's always an agenda behind it, because he could have easily deflected that question, or he could have made that question about football. Because they asked about young players. He didn't have to talk about the personality or the player. They could have just talked. He could have talked about football. But he purposely dug out a certain number of players, because that's what he does. He scapegoats, and that's all he was doing. And these players are sick and fucking tired of it. Like Jesse Lingard bagged 2 goals for England on the weekend. So he turns up for England. He had a good World Cup. Marcus Rashford had his right back on toast for England.
Doesn't start him.
But there you go. So here we go. So like we're not seeing the same players in different shirts, and it goes across the board. Every single player that plays for us now looks better when they're playing for a different manager, but it's never his fault.
It's so measured. You'll have seen it yourself, and just for people who maybe you haven't played football, or you don't understand the coaching side of things and how players can play well for one country and one for another, and badly for their club. If you watch United, every player, and I was having a great chat with somebody at the game yesterday I've never met, just sat next to me. He was saying that if you watch Man City, if you watch Liverpool, they move the ball very quickly. If you watch United, every pass, there's always at least a control, a look, and then a pass. It's so easy to defend, because even Pogba does it. Martial does it. Now, you put Pogba at France, or you put Martial in a Liverpool team, he'll play it first time. But it's because they're told to do it. It's the coaching. They're told to take their time in the build-up, and it's so lethargic and it's so slow. Philip Burtonwood has made a contribution around, so I'll let you answer this. He says, do you think if Mourinho's backed in January transfer market, he's here for the long run?
No, I don't, because I believe he's gone anyway. But I don't think he will be backed in January transfer market. We only do business in January when stuff like an Alexis Sanchez comes up, and it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's a hard market, isn't it, really?
Yeah, there's no market, and there's definitely not market for quality in January. So he's not getting backed in Jan. You know what I mean? I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I feel like something's going to happen in it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not there in January. But if he is, he's not getting any money.
Kadir Hussein says, Belgium Mark Henry isn't even top 3 best striker in the Premier League. The sooner United get rid of him, the better. Which I agree. I think we've both spoken about that. I just don't think he... I like Lukaku. I know he gets a lot of stick, and with me, a lot of it's tongue in cheek. I do like the lad. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough for United. And people have a go at people for that, but the reality is this is Manchester United, the biggest club in the world. We were at that gala on Friday night. The Manchester doctors coming over from the hospital from Munich, and this club matters. And I'm sorry if people take offence because I think Fellaini's shit and shouldn't wear a United shirt. I'm sorry, but it matters. This is not personal. If I saw him in the street, I wouldn't boo him. I'd probably shake his hand. It's just this matters.
It's the same with Lukaku. That's what I tell people. When someone said, "Oh, like I bet you wouldn't say this to his face," I'd be like, "Bruv, it's not personal. I believe he's a shit footballer. If he asked me what I thought about him as a footballer, I'd tell him, bruv, I'm a better footballer than you, bruv. I am. Like, you're playing at Manchester United, but you're terrible. Like, that's just how it is. You can't control a fucking football, bruv. And you've got one job. You've got one job. You can't control a fucking football. You fizz a ball at me, and I'm fucking holding it, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. Like, that's all you have to do in the day. You go to training for 2 hours, then you got the rest of the day for yourself. Why can't you control a fucking football? Like, I don't think that we're asking too much to think that elite level athletes should be able to fucking perform at a certain level.
There was a point yesterday in the second half. I think the ball came out from the back. Lukaku was running from the centre circle to control it. And as he controlled it, De Gea actually dived. He thought it was going to fly in the other way because it was so bad. But he didn't really dive, but it was awful. Sergio Hernandez has made a contribution, and it's a direct one for you, Rance, actually, talking about De Gea. He says, if De Gea left, who would you get?
I said it. I think I said it on the last show. I said I'd probably go for Casper because there's talks of Pickford, but for me, Casper's better than Pickford. Do you know what I mean? For me, and so if I had to choose in the Premier League between them two goalkeepers, because that's who we're being linked with, I think that's who you have to get. People talking about Donnarumma and that. I don't want another goalkeeper that doesn't know the Premier League, because look how long it took De Gea to settle, and he's an absolute worldie. Like, he's a once in a generation goalkeeper. Like, we're not going to see a goalkeeper of De Gea's level for a very long time. So getting foreign goalkeepers is always a massive, massive, massive gamble. Like even Van der Sar had played in England before we signed him. Like, so I'd take Casper.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope he doesn't go, but I think I think even if we get a new manager in, you can't, he might just think I'm tired of, it'll be the fourth manager he's played for since and there's no guarantees. I'll say this now: when Mourinho goes and someone else comes in, let's not be making these wild speculations about winning titles. We just don't know anymore. We're into a land of uncertainty, and it could get worse. I was going to ask you this actually. Looking at the title, looking at the table at the moment, it's depressing. But we are seventh. Everton are above us, but we are five. Sorry, we're 6 points off fifth, which is Arsenal. We're 7 points off Chelsea in fourth. Forget anybody above that because it's 14 points off the top, which is just embarrassing. Most teams have got around a 15 to 20 goal difference better than us. If a new manager was to come in, I mean, that's still quite a... Considering most of these teams above us are beating everybody, they don't drop many points. So 7 points to fourth place. Even if we did get a Zidane in tomorrow, that's still going to be a very, very difficult job this season for them. It's a tough job for someone to come in, I think.
It is, but at the same time, 7 points ain't a lot because we've got to play all these teams.
Yeah.
We still got to play them. Like, we've only played Tottenham and Chelsea, so...
I suppose it's that thing, isn't it? It's like you said, it's if we have both said it, and a lot of people in the live comments have said it, actually, yeah, it'd be nice to have a bit of money, but let's wait till the summer, because actually, if I came in as manager now, I'd go, well, Mourinho ain't even picking the right bloody team for a start. Half of you lot can piss off on holiday and have an early break, because I've got people that are fresh, that aren't even on the bench, that are playing in my first team. So the change around could be quite drastic, I suppose.
It could, like, literally, just with the squad that we have, we could pick a completely different 11 that could show us a different breed of football. Completely. We've got players in the squad like Juan Mata, like Jesse Lingard, like Pogba, like Fred, like Pereira, that can play quick one-touch football, front to back, really quickly and turn teams over. Like, we do have the players with the technical ability to play that kind of football. We just don't have the coach. So I honestly don't believe... Like a lot of people, Mourinho's been very good at conning everyone to believe that we have a shit squad and all our players are terrible. But when you look man for man at a lot of these squads out there, yeah, like when I look at Liverpool's bench, what's on their bench to make me really think anything? Nothing. They ain't really got nothing on the bench. Tottenham ain't really got nothing on the bench. You know what I mean? Outside of Manchester City, like 25 men, we've probably got the second best squad in the league. We have player for player.
Oh yeah, we've got first teamers who aren't even on the bench. Eric Bay.
In terms of depth, we definitely have the second best squad in the league. Like, we do. So I'm not trying to hear the bullshit. Like, Ashley Young's terrible. Like, I mean, Valencia's terrible. But all these guys are all right to come in and play the odd game here and there. But they shouldn't be starting.
No, you're right.
But not many teams have a player as experienced as the Valencias and Youngs to bring on off the bench. They don't even have that.
No, you're right. I mean, Joseph Lackey makes a good point. He says, keep Jose, you lose De Gea, Martial, Pogba, Bay, Rashford, Pereira, maybe Herrera. 7 young, talented players. Keep Jose or get rid of him. And I think the thing there is, it is a matter of time now. It's almost like, time does matter. Which is why the title of the show is, when will Mourinho be sacked? I think that is absolutely essential now, because the longer it goes, the more danger it is. It's not just about 7th in the league, it's the players that will leave who are not going to sign new contracts. So time is of the essence. I hope that you are right, Rance. I hope it is before Christmas, because I will like Mourinho when he's gone. I've always liked him, but as a Manchester United manager, the writing's on the wall. For some people, it's been on the wall for months, even over a year. But it's got to happen at some point. And I suppose it becomes a board problem now, because if we do beat Young Boys and Southampton and we beat Arsenal, loads of people will be like, "Oh, we can do it again." More for them,
I can't wait to see the back of him, to be honest. And it's like, I was having this conversation with someone. They were like, "Oh, the board, and how we can't agree a new deal with Martial." I said, "It's not that we can't agree a new deal. It's just that he doesn't want to play for this manager, mate." At the end of the day, Martial, the form that he's in now, he was in that form before we signed Sanchez. He would have gone to the World Cup. had Jose played him properly, because he's managed to force his way back into the French team, because you can't ignore a player that's scoring goals for fun. You can't ignore that.
There's a great comment here from Yufan Yang, and it's something I said at the start of the season, and it does scare me a little bit. He says, what are they waiting for until absolutely no hope for top four? Now, they did do that with Moyes. They did do that with Van Gaal. I think that if they wait till it's mathematically impossible to get top four, then that is a disgrace on the board for me, because that's not managing a football club. You know, you don't, when the writing's on the wall, you don't, you know, if there's a sign that says, keep riding along this road, you're going to fall into a pit of crocodiles, you don't just keep riding along till you fall in the pit. You get off the bike and you turn around. That is right. That could happen. I would hope not.
But they should be making a change so that we can make top four. That's definitely, they should be making a change to make sure that we can make top four, instead of waiting to see if we can make it or if we can't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in agreement with that. Like, hopefully they will change it, man, because Woodward's putting out fires at the moment. That's what it looks like, because Jose was trying to sell all our good players, and Wood was trying to tell him, no, you can't fucking sell these players. But there's clearly a disconnect, like, between the manager and upstairs. So as much as people can blame the board, etc., like, boy, without them right now, Jose would just be fucking dismantling this team.
Yeah. Sai Charan Teja Kabaluni, nice name, pal. He says, Jose in or out, the players must show some hunger on the pitch. I was there yesterday, Rance is there a lot. I think that, I respect the opinion, and it is your opinion, but I think we're past that now. I think the players have got to show more hunger on the pitch. I think that's what Mourinho wants you to think, but it's year 3 now. I think the players... Yeah, you know, maybe some of these players aren't good enough, but I refuse to sort of throw them under the bus anymore, because it's so obvious, the manager. If the next manager comes in and Martial puts a performance in yesterday, I'd probably, even as much as I love him, I'd say, what's going on with Martial? But I think the players have got they weren't good enough yesterday, but I think they're a bit like the fans. I think, you know, they're human beings. I think they are. I don't think that's an excuse for Mourinho, personally.
Yeah, but this is it. I'm tired of people saying, oh, the players need to put in more effort and all this bullshit. If you've been coached, to play a certain way, and you're out there knowing that it doesn't fucking work and this is bullshit, but you still have to grit your teeth and still continue to do it, how much effort are you going to put in?
It's like any job, isn't it? You know, if you've got a crap manager, where's your motivation come from? Your personal motivation can only take you so far. Because
when Jose's flung on Fellaini and he's taken off all of our technical players and he's saying, all right, cool, just smash it long. If you're a Manchester United player, you're looking at this guy like, what the fuck is this? Like, what, are we West Brom now? Is this what we become? Like, and even so, if you want to go long, why are you taking off Pogba and he's our best passer of the ball?
Yeah, the thing is, there was a bit of rumbling, but as I said, there's just people are just not surprised by what he says now. There definitely was booing at the end yesterday, though, and I don't know whether that's the first time it's happened, but there was definitely collective
there was booing. You could hear it even from, I watched it, and you could hear the booing. So in the stadium, you would have definitely heard it. So the booing is usually the beginning and the end, isn't it? Like, so I think he's gone, mate. I honestly think he's gone before Christmas, and if he does, it can save our season. But if he's still here after the January window, then yeah, we're fucked. Like, we're not going to win anything, and we might not even be playing Champions League football next season.
There's a lot of people in the live comments talking about David De Gea and BBC saying he's going to PSG. Look, I'm aware of the rumours. I don't know what I've not found anything from the BBC, which would worry me. But I have seen a lot of people talking about it throughout the last sort of 12, 15 hours about De Gea going to PSG. Look, I wouldn't surprise me. Would it surprise you, Rance? I think realistically, this is a reason to get a new manager in. Get a new manager in, 6 months. De Gea might think we're going places, I'll sign the contract. Again, it's another reason to get it done quick.
Yeah, I think De Gea is staying, mate. I think De Gea is one of the players that genuinely loves the club. He knows the club for what it is, man. He was there under Sir Alex Ferguson, so, like, there's a special place in his heart for the club, man. He could have left us ages ago. And even the Real Madrid saga, David De Gea came out openly and said that I will never come out and hand in transfer requests because I'm not unhappy at the club. He said it. He said, obviously, I want to go back home, but I don't want to leave here. Like, I don't actively want to force a move. And he's had opportunities where he could have, and he's never forced a move. So I genuinely don't think he'll leave if he feels like there's progress. But right now under Jose, Like, he can see the football shit. There's obviously not harmony in the dressing room. And also, you just got to look at his friends as well. Juan Mata and the Herrera, these guys ain't really happy either at the club. So, like, it's the manager. Like, the whole atmosphere changes. For instance, we get a Zidane walking in tomorrow. All of a sudden, everyone signs a new deal. I promise you. I promise you, Martial signs that deal quicker than anything. De Gea signs that deal. Because they know if Zidane comes in, he's bringing in players like Rafa Varane and players like that. Zidane's not coming in to bring in fucking bullshit players like Nemanja Matic. Like, Zidane doesn't operate at that level. So if you bring in a player like Zidane, you're bringing in, remember he was the director at Real Madrid before. This guy's bringing in proper footballers. So I think he comes in, we're good in it. I still don't think Martial, I don't think De Gea, I don't think any of these guys are leaving. I don't think Ed Woodward would allow it. And also, I just don't think that they want to leave. I just think that they just want reassurance that this prick's not going to be in charge next season.
Don't we all? Philip Burtonwood's got an interesting question. He says, what do you think Sir Alex and Bobby Charlton are thinking at this moment? Surely they have a say in the way we are playing under Jose. What's your thoughts? Now, my understanding is they have no say. They are just basically fronts. Yeah, they're ambassadors, really. And obviously, Sir Bobby Charlton's a very old man now, and Sir Alex Ferguson's been very ill. But my understanding is they have no say. They're probably not very happy, but they don't have any say.
They don't have any say because Bobby Charlton was very vocal in his opposition to Jose getting the job, and he still got it. So Bobby Charlton doesn't have a say. Bobby Charlton never wanted Jose Mourinho at the club. He doesn't like him, and that's not really a secret. Like, it's anywhere. You can Google that, brother. It won't be hard to find.
No. Jack Coleman says, I'm a Celebrities on. I know a lot of you watch I'm a Celebrity, so we will wrap it up there. But really appreciate getting rants on tonight. Sophie was ill, and Flex couldn't be arsed now. I don't know what the problem with Flex was. But no, Sophie was not well. She got a bit too drunk on Friday night. No, I don't know. But really appreciate you coming on rants. And I presume we got Flex and rants on Tuesday. Yeah, we're filming that tomorrow. Nice one. Well, I really appreciate it, and it's great to get your opinions because unfortunately you couldn't be at the game yesterday for your own reasons. But it was really great to get your reaction to that as well, and how things are. And you know what I would say as well is, I said this morning. There's a lot of people, if Mourinho turned this around, that would come on this show and tell people like me and you, haha, you're wrong. We've been proved right. I'm not one of those people who says I told you so, but. Oh, I've been screaming it for over a year and a half, man. I identify things. The thing is, I'm the kind of guy, if I see something to change my opinion, I'll hold my hands up. I'll always hold my hands up and say, you know what, like, I got it wrong, or maybe I was wrong about this and I was wrong about that. Like, I did it. Like, even with Luke Shaw, yeah, like, I was vocally, like, I didn't want him. Like, I still don't think he's as good as people think he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's still easy to get by, and he makes a lot of defensive mistakes. And going forward, I don't think he's great either. His crossing's not great. Like, there's nothing great about him. But the fact that Luke Shaw got fit and he got himself back into contention, I was like, you know what? I hold my hands up. Like, he's shown a bit of hunger, and maybe he does want to be here. Do you know what I mean? But I still don't think he's good enough. But at the same time, I had to put my hands up and say, you know what? Like, he's shown that actually he's got a bit of fight in him. Do you know what I mean? Because he could have easily bottled it, stayed fat, like, ran down his contract and then got to move somewhere else. So, like, in them instances, I'll put my hands up and say, you know what? Like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But with Jose, this is his third season. We still don't have a clear direction of a style of play. We don't know what our best starting 11 is. We don't know anything. If he doesn't know that after 3 years, because he's only been here about 5 months longer than Klopp's been at Liverpool. That's it. And when you look at what Liverpool have done and the squad that Klopp inherited, because Klopp inherited Markovic and Lambert and players like that. And Mourinho came into a team that just won the fucking FA Cup. So when you look at that, you can't argue Jose's case. There's no argument for him. There's not a single argument that I can't slap down in 5 seconds. I think that's the issue, isn't it? It's like, I'd love someone Mourinho. Which reminds me, we've got the call in tomorrow night. If there are any Mourinho winners, please call in and explain what theory you've got. Because I think all you've got is a Wikipedia page. I don't think you've got anything else. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, thanks, everyone. We have got the call in tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Keep an eye out for that. Andrew Ellis, I will give you a big up and say that you never wanted Mourinho, so you are probably the oldest person I can remember saying it. This was like before he was even appointed, so fair play there. But the reality is we don't know when he will be sacked. I would like to believe what Rance is saying, that it will be before Christmas, because I think the sooner is the better, and I think it's not nice to say someone's going to get sacked, but he'll be well compensated. And
but this is it. Do you know what I mean? He don't work in Sainsbury's. Do you know what I mean? He's a multi-millionaire. I don't give a shit. You can fuck off, man. Sack him.
And on that bombshell, we'll finish it. But really enjoyed the show. Get and watch I'm Celebrity if that's what you're off to do. And we'll see you tomorrow for the call-in. And I think that'll be a good show as well, because I'm sure you've got a lot to say. Speak to you all soon. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And we're done. Cheers for that. I really enjoyed that.